Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making the tutorial for this polo shirt. I made it with the V-stitch. Quite interesting making it. I do hope you enjoy making yours as you watch this video. So let's get into it. Okay, so for this project, this is all you are going to need. A yarn. We are going to be using medium weight yarn today, and we are going to be putting two together to give it that full feel, you know. And then I'm going to be using a 4mm hook size. Then you need a measurement tape. Then you need some stitch markers. You need a scissors, and you also need a tapestry needle to weave in your ends when you are done. So for this particular project, you are going to be taking some measurements. So what you do, you take around your chest measurement, you divide it into two parts. So the back part is going to get half the measurement of your chest size, and then you're going to be making two panels in front, half of what you got from your back panel. Don't worry, as we go I'll be explaining it one after the other so you get the gist very well. All right, so let's get started. So here you're going to make a slip knot, and then for my own, the length of the shirt I'm making is 30, so you are going to chain up 30. I made 120 chains. That is what is going to give me the 30, the length I'm going for this particular shirt. So if you are following the size that I'm making, then you are in luck. Just continue doing what I'm doing and everything will be okay. But it's a good thing that you use your own tape to measure yourself, or whoever you're making it for, to know the exact length, because it's very important to know the length that you're working with. All right, so make a slip knot and chain up 30 inches. All right, okay, one, and make sure you count it to know the exact chain you're making, because that is what you're going to use for the 3 different panels that you're going to make in for this shirt. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here we are. I ended up doing 122 chains, because that is what will give me the 30 for the length that I'm going for. Okay, the camera is not going to pick all of them, so what I'll do, I'm going to fold it so I'll be able to do the measurement for you to see. So folding it like this, I only need 15 to know if I'm on the right track. So here we are, exactly 15, as you can see. So when you open it now, it will give you 30. So we are good with that number. So what you're going to do now for the row 2 is yarn over and count 3 back, and into the 4th stitch put in 2 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and then into the 4th stitch put in 2 double crochets right there. We are working with a V-stitch, but this V-stitch is a different V-stitch. We are not going to be chaining one or anything. We're just going to be skipping one stitch. You skip one, in the next one you put in 2 double crochets. And skip one, and the next put in 2 double crochets. Skip one, and the next stitch put in 2 double crochets. So that's exactly what you'll be doing until you get to the very end of the chain. So we have gotten to the end of row 2. So now at this end part, what we are going to do, we're going to chain, and we're going to yarn over and skip one like we've been doing. But this time around, on the very last stitch, you're not going to be putting 2 double crochets. You're just going to put 1 double crochet to wrap this row up. So So see, just like we have here. So for row 3, you are going to chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. Then turn your work, yarn over, and on this very space, you put in 1 double crochet to make it 2, because this chain 3 you just made is going to be standing as 1 double crochet. So now we have 2 double crochets on this space, and then go into the next space and put in 2 double crochets, and then in the next space put in 2 double crochets, and in the next stitch put in 2 double crochets. So this is basically what you'll be doing all through. Make sure you go into all of the spaces. As you can see, go into the spaces and put in 2 double crochets until you get to the end of this row, and up to here. Okay, so we've gotten to the end of row 3. I'm just going to put my last 2 double crochet on the very last space here. 1 and then 2. So for row 4, we're going to chain up 3. 1, 2, and 3, and then turn our work, and then on the next space we put in 2 double crochets. So again, the next space you put in 2 double crochets. Just continue doing this. Continue putting 2 double crochets in all of the spaces like we've been doing until you get to the very end of this row again. So you see how it's coming out already. So this is what you're going to do until you get to the end here. So we've gotten to the end of row 4. Let me just put the 2 double crochet, last 2 double crochet on this space, and then to end this part, you see how it is. We do not have any space here anymore. So what we'll do, we yarn over and count 1 stitch, and on the last stitch on top of the chain 3 we made on this row, go in there on the very 3rd stitch and make just 1 double crochet to give you that space. So as you can see the arrangement, you have 1 here, then 2 here, and then you have 1 here. You understand that? So you chain up your 3 again, turn your work, and yarn over, and on this space you put in 1 double crochet to make it 2 like you've been doing. So and on the next space you just keep creating 2 double crochet on all of the spaces, just like that. So basically this panel is going to be the repeats of row 3 and row 4. So that is exactly what you'll be doing until you get the length of this particular row. Okay, so the explanation is this now. We are going to be making 3 panels on this shirt. We have the back panel and the 2 front panels. For the person I'm making for, is around this chest is 48, so I'm going to be dividing that into 2 places. So since the front is going to be 2 panels before we join it together, I'm going to divide the front into 2 again. Just listen carefully so you understand what I'm explaining. So for the back, I'm going to do 24 inches, because if you divide 48 into 2, you get 24. So the back panel is going to get 24 inches, and then the 2 front panels is you're going to now divide 24 into 2 again, so that will give us 12 each. So the 2 front panels will have 12 inches, and the back panel will have 48 and we have 24 inches. So when you put all of them together, that is when you get your 48 inches. So I don't know the size that you're working with, but that is just the maths. You just have to divide it. The back is going to have half of it, then the front 2 panels, you divide it into 2 and you get your chest measurement. So right now, go ahead to finish all of your panels and I'll meet you back here to tell you what to do next. All right, so I'm done with my 3 panels. So I did the back one and then the 2 front panel. So the next thing we're going to be doing, because I ended up doing 50 rows at the back and then the 2 front panels, like I told you, I told you to divide it into 2, and then the one you get for the back, divide it into 2 again. So I made 50 rows at the back and I made 25 each in front, but I didn't complete this last one. So this one now has 24 rows. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to be joining the 2 front panels together up to somewhere like here to create that polo neck that we're supposed to get here after closing up the shoulders. So I'll close it from here down to this spot. Don't worry, I'll show you. I just had to take it out of my table so I can show you the whole length of it. All right. Okay, so here's the 2 front panel. I've gone ahead to put in the stitch marker where I want to end my joining. Yeah, so we are going to start the joining from here. Like I told you, I'm supposed to do like 25 rows on each of the front panel, but I did 24 on this one because that is the part we are going to be using to join it with this other one. So we are going to join it down to this stitch marker. What I did, I leave 16 stitches before putting the stitch marker here. Let me measure it for you. Tape measurements. I think that will be easier to actually navigate. And 8 inches. So I left 8 inches out. So we are going to join it from here now, and we end it here, leaving 8 inches for the polo neck. Okay, let's get to that one. Let me show you how I join my own. But you can actually use any other method you want to use. Some people like to join with needle, the tapestry needle, but me, I like to join with completing this one. Let me show you. Okay, so we are going to insert our hook at the very last stitch here and take the loop from this other side. Do not forget we ended this other panel with 24 rows instead of 25 rows. So this joining now is going to be adding the very last row to it. So you bring out the loop here, chain 1, then onto the next stitch, the next piece, you put in 2 double crochet. So this joining is also working the very last row to complete it 25, just like the other panel we are joining with. Just look at it closely, what I'm doing and how I'm joining it. But like I've said before, you can actually use other methods to join your own, but make sure you have the complete rows on the 2 panels. Put in 2 double crochets. Okay, let me go slowly so you see what I'm doing now. So you go into the space, take the loop that's from here, bring it out of the space, chain 1, yarn over, and go to the next space here and put in 2 double crochets. So see how it's looking. So we are joining and at the same time completing this part to be 25 rows. So go ahead to join yours down to whatever space you want to leave on your polo neck. Me, I did 8 inches like I've shown you, and I'll meet you here where my stitch marker is already, because this is where I'm going to be ending my journey. Okay, so here we are at the end of the journey. This is how it's looking already. Let me just put in the last one. I'm gonna remove this one now. That don't work. Okay, so put in 2 double crochets here just to wrap it up. And then go into the very last place where we put the stitch marker, and then pull up a loop, chain 1. Then what you're going to do now is, don't forget this part is still 24 on this side, so you're going to run it down to this part, putting in 2 double crochet to the very end here, so you can get 25 each in the panels, because as you can see, when we're joining, we added 1 here to make this side 25, so we need to continue it here, so up to this space here. All right, so finish yours and I'll meet you here. Okay, it's all joined now, and you have your 8 inches here. That's going to serve as the neck. So it's time to join both the front and the back panel together before we start working on the arm. Okay? Okay, so like I said, we're going to be joining the front panel and the back panel together. So here we go. For the neck, I had to put the stitch marker here to get, I did from this stitch marker to this stitch marker, I did 9 inches. So you can see I have 9 inches here. So you go ahead to close this part. I've done mine already. I've done just 1. Then for this other side now, I'm going to be closing this part as well. But make sure you get 9 inches on the neck by the time you are done, because don't forget we already left 8 inches for this part. So when you put the 2 close like this, just make sure you get 9 inches before you close the 2 parts. So that's for the neck. Then for the arm, the standard arm is 20 inches for men, and I'm doing for an extra large, so I think the 10 inches will be okay for him as well. So you share your 10 inches into 2, because this time around now we're closing up, so this is just one side of the arm. So as you can see, I did exactly 10 inches. Sorry, I did exactly 10 inches for the arm. Yeah, so always make sure you use your stitch marker to mark it. So this arm now got 10 inches here. So what you're going to do is use a tapestry needle to close this part up right from here, close it up to this side where your stitch marker is to reveal the armhole. Then do that on this side as well. Use your tapestry needle and your yarn to close up this part. When I'm done closing my own, I'll come back to show you how it's looking. But this is one part that I've already sewn in with my tapestry needle. So this is how it is looking already. So we'll get our armhole here, even though I've not closed this part yet. But you get the idea of what I'm trying to explain. So let me just sew all mine together and I'll be back to show you the next step. Okay, I realize I've not shown you the method of using the tapestry needle to sew two panels together. So let me give you a little sneak peek. All right, so you of course put a yarn in your needle, then go into the first stitch and tie it up. I've already done that. Then just keep sewing. So what you'll be doing is just keep going into the points. You see where you did the normal 2 double crochets, just be going into this point. So after securing this part, the 2 ends now is tied. What you will now do is go to the next point, which is underneath this place, the point where you have your double crochet. Go into that point and bring it out. Go on the next part, the next side, go into that point and bring it out. So that is what you follow. Then go into the next part again and put it in point. And make sure when you are putting the needle, put it from bottoms up. Put it from the bottom to the top. So as you can see, so when it closes, it doesn't show like anything was happening there. So go to the next point again. Fix your needle underneath the 2 double crochet you made on every point, just like this. So you see how it's looking very neat. So this is how you use a tapestry needle to sew panels together. So just continue doing that until you get to the stitch marker for the neck part, and then like I've told you before, go to the body parts, the sides, and do exactly the same thing with your tapestry needle like that, and I'll meet you back here. Now we are going to be working on the collar. This collar part to the back. So what you do, you make a slip knot. Attach your yarn at this very end point here, just after this space. So you attach your yarn on the very first stitch there, then chain up 3, and then on this first space here you put in 2 double crochets. And on the next space, that's here, put in 2 double crochets. Then on the next, put in 2 double crochets. And the next, put in 2 double crochets. Yeah, just keep doing that. Keep putting 2 double crochets all around the neck until you get to these other points where you started this one from. I'll meet you here to tell you what to do next. Okay, so we are at the end of the row 1 for the collar. Yeah, this is where we started, and I did 2 on each space, and I got to this point, and then I put in the last double crochet on this part. So you chain up 3, turn your work, like I said, this is serving as 1 double crochet already. So when you go in here, it becomes 2 double crochets, see, and then in the next space you put in 2 double crochets. So this is how you create your collar. Just keep putting in 2 double crochets in each of the spaces like I explained. You put it all around, and when you get to this space, put in 2 double crochets here on the very last place. Then you chain up 3 again, and then you do the same thing down to this part until you get the length of the collar you want on your project. All right, when I finish my own now, I'll come back and show you, and I'll let you know how many rows I did. Okay, so here we are. I'm done with my own collar. I ended up doing 5 of the rows. Then after the 5 rows, I had to do a single crochet all around down to this spot, and I continued until I ended here. So I don't know how many rows you want to do to make you satisfied with your own size that you're making, but for this size that I'm making, I think the 5 rows is enough for me. So I just went back and forth and got 5 rows and did a single crochet all around it down to this point, and I ended it here. So now we'll be moving on to the next thing, which is the arm area. So now we are going to be working on the arm. I believe by now you've joined your own from the bottom to the top to the arm area, which is the 10 inches we're leaving for the arm area. So now this is what we are going to be working on. It's simple. You're just going to attach your ear and ear and go around. Don't worry, I'm going to show you what I did because I've gone ahead to do this other part. The first arm is ready, so now I'm going to teach you guys how to do this one. You can see for the arm, you are going to be attaching your yarn where you end the joining from down. This way you attach your yarn. Attach your yarn here, and then chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. Then yarn over, and then go into the next space after this first 2. So go into the next space and put in 2 double crochet as you draw. Then into the next space, put in 2 double crochet. Into the next space, another 2 double crochet. So this is what you continue. Just continue putting 2 double crochets in each of the space all around until you get to this point. I'll meet you here at the very last part, so I'll show you how to join it and continue. All right, so we're at the end of the row 1 for the arm area. So this is how you're going to close it. You remember we made a chain 3 here in the very beginning before we put our 2 double crochets on the next space. So this space that you got the chain 3 from, you just go in there with 1 more double crochet, just like this. That makes it 2 double crochets on the stitch, and you slip the stitch on the very 3rd chain of the chain 3 you made. Slip the stitch, and there you go. So you have 2 2 all around the arm. So in the next row, for row 2, you're going to chain up 3, and then you turn your work to the other side. Turn your work, and then on the next space you put in 2 double crochets. So this time around you're working the other way. So you're going to do exactly the same thing, but this time around you're working the other way because you have to turn your work to do it, so you get the effect of what you did on the shirt. So continue putting it in each and every one of the space all around the arm until you get to this point again. Then you put in 1 double crochet on this space to make it 2, just like we did in this very first one, and then turn your chain 3, turn your work, and go all the way to this part. Just keep doing that until you get the length of the arm that you want. Me, on this part, I did 12 rows in total. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. Then I did a single crochet at the end of it, so I did 12 rows here. So I'm going to go ahead to do my 12 rows here as well, and then end it with 1 single crochet. So I don't know how many rows you're going to end up doing for the size that you're doing, but me, I'm going to be putting in 12 rows for my own, and then I'll go ahead to put in single crochets at the bottom. I like the way the single crochets make it look firmer, and it's going to hide all the stems. It just makes it look so beautiful, just as it is on the arm here. You see what I'm talking about. All right, so you go ahead and finish your rows for your arms, for your shirt arm, and your single crochet here, and I will meet you when I'm done with my shirts to show you the finished results. Okay guys, I'm done with my shirt. See how it's looking now. So I went ahead to actually put like an aesthetic design with a velvet wool. I put in single crochet all across the collar, and I went down with it down to the very bottom here, and then I continued at the bottom just to give it this aesthetic look, so it will not be plain like that. I made a single crochet as well with the velvet wool on the arm as well, and then I had to add one more double crochet at the end because it was too short when my son wore it, so I had to put that one so it will complete the look. You can go ahead to put on your own if it's too short, but if not, it's actually fine the way it is. You know, this one is just because it's too short, but it made the design came out a little bit finer on the arm anyways. So here we go. Here is the finished work. I don't know how yours is looking, so I'll beg you to tag me on my social media accounts, FTK Crochet, so I see how your own went, and subscribe to my channel and turn on your notification button so whenever I post something like this, you'll be the first to see it. And make sure you like and share the video to your friends that want to make something as beautiful as this. All right, see, I went ahead to put my little label as well. All right, darlings, until the next video, bye.